everybody. Welcome to Safe Space Talk. So today is a little different. I know you guys are like, what the hell, man? So today we're outside. It's a gorgeous day, and we just ended up deciding to go outside, and we're going to have a blast.
Good energy, yeah.
Exactly. All the great rays and all this good stuff. So now that I think about it, my pool pump may be loud, but I don't think it was blocking it the last time. Okay, well, then we're good. So we're going to start out with our ceremonial lighting of the candle. And today, it's a new... Yeah, today, this is a new candle, too. This is a candle that I made at a birthday party. Yeah, this is that legit thing. So, and it's a wood whisk. So I'm like, oh, we may want to watch this one all the way to the end on this couch. Lift ourselves in prayer. So we're going to wait until this actually lights itself. And it's like, let it get to the base. And then let me see it calm down a bit. And then I'll feel comfortable. But hopefully while this is burning, just so you guys know, our usual, this is for anybody going through a little bit of something. A lot of something, just trying to make good decisions, trying to go with the peace, go with the good thoughts, all the good energy.
I need them a lot today.
I
so
do,
take what
yes.
you need from this.
Because heaven knows, I'm sitting here like, burn, mother, burn. Like, that should not be the theme song of the day, but I'm feeling like it really is.
Oh, it is for me, for sure.
So, all right. So I think we're getting towards the actual candle now. So I'm going to sit it down here where it's nice and safe. And today is going to be Metabolic Syndrome Day. So, and I feel bad because my sunglasses they're not sunglasses, they're my regular glasses, but
are they transitions?
They're the transition lenses. So it's like, so now it's like, they can't see who I am. They're like, who's this imposter? They're in a fake place and nothing's right. So today is Metabolic Syndrome Day. So one of my big pet peeves, just because I feel like it's something that just goes so unnoticed, and it is underdiagnosed, it's overly present in the population. I think I walk through Walmart probably every day diagnosing people.
For sure.
And I'm sitting here, I'm like,
yes,
exactly. I'm like,
every third
you
person.
have it. And I want to just walk up to them and check out. I'm like,
have you been to your PCM recently?
Have you been to the doctor recently? Have you been to your healthcare provider? Yeah, you should mention these words. So we're going to go into what metabolic syndrome is, why you should care about it. It's for males and females. This is a non-OB related issue. So I'll start out by having Keisha go over what the diagnostic criteria are. So we can say, okay, this is metabolic syndrome. These are what you have to be diagnosed. And then I'll tell you what it means afterwards as far as when we diagnose you.
Okay, so like Renee said, diagnostic criteria for metabolic syndrome. First one, abdominal obesity. So waist circumference of greater than 40 inches in men and 35 inches in women. And that sounds big, but you would be surprised that actually how it is really not that big, especially if you're a curvier individual and you have great proportions and you still have a small waist to your frame. You may not think, I'm at 35 inches. But up until like recently, after I had my baby, I was close to 35 inches. So not hard at all to obtain that. Hypertriglyceridemia. Hypertriglyceridemia. Greater than 150. Low HDL-C in men, which this is the good cholesterol. This is the one that you want. Men less than 40 and women less than 50. Then there's going to be high blood pressure. So anything over 130, over 85. And then a high fasting glucose. So that means after 8 hours of not eating, do you still have a lot of blood sugar in your bloodstream that's greater than 110? That would be the measurement for that. And you need 3 of these 5 that I mentioned to qualify for metabolic syndrome. So all in all, it's not very hard
to actually be diagnosed
at all,
which is what makes it so sad.
So, I think that's why people avoid their annual lab work, because they don't want that news. Because I see that a lot. No, I don't want that. Like I'll ask them, like, do you have a PCM? No. Do you want some lab work? Do you want your cholesterol checked? Do you want, no.
Oh, and so what I love is that people, no, you're not going to put that on me. I'm not, ma'am, I'm not putting anything on you. I'm trying to bring it out of you. And it is, now I will say, especially for Black clients, now that is one thing. They're like, oh no, honey, you're not going to put, I don't have diabetes. I don't have sugar. I'm like, first off, those are the same. They are the same disease process. There is not sugar, and then there's diabetes. Like if you have diabetes, you have sugar. I know that seems really weird to those who do not understand, but there is, like, my mom, she got diabetes, she got sugar, she got high blood pressure, she got no, she has just one disease process, ma'am. Stop calling them two. But so it's very easy to diagnose. So if you think about it, if I'm not mistaken, my waist circumference, and I'm not that big of a girl either, but I'm tall. So I want to say mine is like 33. Like I'm coughing distance from just one of those.
Right.
So if you put it in perspective, to have the waist circumference, what they're looking for is it's it's the adipose tissue. Adipose tissue can cause you to make more estrogen. More estrogen can cause it to be harder for you to lose weight. A lot of things like that. But we went over metabolic syndrome. Now she went over how you get diagnosed with it. It's the fasting blood sugar. It's the elevated bad cholesterol. It's the low good cholesterol. It's the insulin resistance, and then also having that abdominal waist circumference. All of these are precursors to serious issues. So what I call metabolic syndrome, it's like little fires everywhere. It is the warning shot. Like, you know how some people, they're nice enough whenever they get their revolver, they're like, and they shoot up into the air first before they aim towards you. That's what metabolic syndrome is. It is literally the biggest warning shot you could ever get. It's like, please pay me attention because your body is going to show out really soon, really fast, and it can turn ugly on you. So it's for the people that are at higher risk of having a heart attack, higher risk of having a stroke, higher risk of cardiovascular disease, higher risk of diabetes, sugar, whatever you want to call it. All of those things, you're either at the spitting distance or it's the door opening up for you to basically say, oh, this is what my diagnosis is. This is my new life. So one of the biggest reasons that is huge for me is because, like she said, we live below the Bible Belt. So if you don't know what the Bible Belt is, fun read, Google it. But it means we live in the South. And so living in the South, it's literally, obesity is very prominent. And so the foods that we eat, the diet that we consume, the portion size that we're accustomed to, it's very, very different from other areas. I can promise you, just from traveling and things like that. So we are very prone to having this. And if we diagnose it this early, there's so much higher, more, it's higher lifestyle, like quality, and decreases the morbidity of it and decreases the mortality of something coming up with it. Add that on to being a smoker, and it can make it high risk for things like aortic and abdominal aortic aneurysms, all types of different things that you would never even expect to even know to look up. So the reason it's really important to me is because we watch women a lot of times in our practice, and we watch them grow. And I do mean that literally. Right. And like, we see it, but we have to be more cognizant about making that our priority, because most people, they're going to hear, oh, you're just telling me that I'm fat, or oh, you're just telling me that my blood sugar.
Topic to navigate, because as a woman, like, you hate anytime like you go to PCM, especially if it's a male, and you're like, I have an ear infection. They're like, it's because you're fat. Exactly. They're like, my uterus really hurt. Well, uterus is gonna ute, and you're like, just dismissed. So that's almost like a trigger now, that like, as soon as you bring up my weight, it's like you're dismissive of me, which it's not, because I've had to tell 2 people in the last week. They are 350 pounds and 400 pounds separately, respectively, and they are wanting to become pregnant. And I'm trying to tell them that we need to address these because they have metabolic syndrome. Like, all these things that we mentioned, they are meeting these diagnoses. This will not be a healthy pregnancy, and this is not for me trying to down you or say you need to be doing better,
or you don't deserve to be pregnant because you are obese.
At all
that's
what
not
we're saying.
it.
It's, I want you to have the greatest chances of success. And often people with metabolic syndrome have PCOS.
Yes, they do go hand in hand because of that insulin resistance.
Those are a lot of people who are coming to me wanting to be pregnant, and I feel like I can help you to an extent. But like, one of my big things is nutrition referral and bariatric surgery referral, both of them.
And then whenever you have the bariatric surgery, then there's the whole, when is it safe? Because there's no safe time to get pregnant post bariatric surgery. It's kind of like how they're saying, the way they say bariatric surgery now is tied in kind of with alcohol and caffeine. There's just a blanket statement now. There is no safe amount. We can't say that it's not safe.
Right.
So it's not that if you have bariatric surgery, you should never get pregnant. It's not that if you're pregnant, you should never have caffeine. It's not that if you're pregnant and you have a couple of glasses of red wine, that something is going to happen. They just cannot say on record anything about them. They can't. Yes. There's no safe amount.
Big thing is, I don't necessarily want anybody to have the bariatric surgery. I want you to understand, speaking to a person who deals with morbid obesity on a day-to-day basis, what you are looking at, because I think sometimes the veil has to be lifted,
Mm-hmm.
because this is not something that just happened overnight. This is something that
Mm-hmm.
for the past 5 years
We
I've
had to
gained like
work
60 pounds a year, or
over
whatever.
time.
And so you become comfortable in that, you become comfortable in your lifestyle. And even when I suggest small changes, like, how about you walk to the bus stop to get your child?
Usually the first thing is, I bet it's my birth control.
Well, a lot of them aren't on it for me because they're trying to get pregnant.
That's true.
So, and you're just
That's
like,
true. You're like, yep, nope, it's not the birth control.
Yeah.
But the ones that are on birth control, they're like,
Yeah.
I bet it's my birth
I
control.
had
It's
one of
because
those
I'm on.
too.
I'm
In the
like,
past 2 weeks, she got her. But I did actually I was concerned about her because I'd seen her. I placed her Nexplanon last year, and she came back this year, and I almost didn't recognize her because she gained so much weight,
mm-hmm.
And she wanted it out. And as a woman, I couldn't even argue with her because in her head that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was not going to convince her in that 20-minute visit that's
No,
not
that
what it
was
was.
not
She's
it.
decided that's what it was. So, but I made sure I said, "When's the last time you had your thyroid?"
All these other things checked.
So she's like, I haven't. So then, I went ahead and did it, and they were fine. So, still don't necessarily know what the cause is. She did just have a child recently, so maybe, lifestyle changes, who knows. But
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that rapid weight gain is always going to be birth control's
Something
fault.
hard. It's always their fault, no matter what kind it is. I don't care what it is. It could be condoms. It's the birth control's fault. But so we went over what it is. We went at what you're at risk for, why it matters. Like, why do I care if you have metabolic syndrome? So the word that I can never say, and we're gonna have to put a picture up on it, and we'll make sure we put it for blacks, for whites, and for all BIPOC, because it is very difficult for me to say, but not difficult to notice. So go ahead, Keisha, hit it.
Acanthosis nigricans.
Yes, I will butcher that till the day I die. But it is this. It is a very noticeable linear type of discoloration on the skin surface. It feels velvety. It's most often found, like most of the time, I can see it here. A lot of times, it's like right here. Armpits, and yes, anywhere where there are creases, especially the neck. And what it is you can literally touch your skin and you can feel the difference. It feels like a crushed velvet dress, if you're old enough to know what crushed velvet feels like. It's a difference in the texture, a difference in the tone of the skin, and it is very noticeable. And what people will say, which I swear they say all the time, oh, my mom has the same thing, my sisters all have it too, it's just a skin thing. No, it's not just a skin thing.
It does run in your family.
It does run in your family because it's a disease process that runs in your family because you're all eating the same stuff and you're in the same lifestyle. So that's what it is, more so than anything, because I have a ton of family members that have it, but I don't have it because I don't have metabolic syndrome yet. Now, with my diet and everything, I'm probably like 2 shakes of a lamb's tail from diagnosing it myself. But the point is that in the meantime, I have a lot of family members that have it and I don't have it because I don't have that disease process and I don't have insulin resistance yet. So whenever you're walking around, I want you to think about it from now on. When you see this picture, I want you to walk around the neighborhood, walk around wherever you are, and just look and see if you see that on them and say, oh, I bet she has insulin resistance. I bet she either has metabolic syndrome or diabetes or PCOS or something like that. And then you'll realize how easy it is to look at people and say, ooh, or whenever you see that their abdomen is wider than their hips or wider than their shoulders. For men, that can be a sign of low T. It can also be a sign of testosterone. For women, it can be a sign of pregnancy, obviously, but it could be a sign of PCOS. It could be a sign of metabolic syndrome. If you guys notice, all of these things keep coming around to an end. I'm hoping that that's what you guys are starting to pick up from our videos. That things that look like PCOS could be metabolic syndrome. Things that look like metabolic syndrome can be pregnancy related. Things that look like this, it can all be one of those things. And a lot of times we don't discover it because the first time a lot of times we get you to the doctor is for your like prenatal screen,
right,
when you first get like a comprehensive evaluation. Yeah. And so that's why it's important to me, because it can prevent a lot of morbidity and mortality amongst all people. But if you start battling it at metabolic syndrome prior to it being full out a heart attack, full out a stroke, then we have that chance of increasing your livelihood, not needing, what is it called, Watchman? The stroke, like the clot catcher. I think it's called Watchman or something, like where they have to implant that in for people that have had strokes. So the idea is that it's almost like a mesh system, like going back to the old fashioned mesh, where if there's a clot in your blood, it's supposed to kind of like catch it and hold it in place. Okay. anyways, like we're preventing these types of serious procedures and things like that happening in the future. So that's my little ditty on metabolic syndrome. So why is it important? Because women especially could be diagnosed with it so early, and we could be treating it so much earlier and taking care of them better, and they could be healthier and happier and have easier pregnancies if they desire that, and have an easier just lifestyle change.
Right. Quality of life.
And quality of life is humongous. And then whenever they're wondering why they can't lose weight, they can get onto medications, and when they fix the things that are causing it, they actually find that it's helping with their weight loss, and it's getting them back to the shape and the place that they want to be physically, which helps them get back to where they want to be mentally, which then goes into the mental health outbreak that we have of such a body dysmorphic disorder, because people realize, oh, I thought I was fat in high school, and now I just wish I was as fat as I thought I was in high school. And it's one of those things that we're programmed to think it, and then whenever we approach it and it becomes a true diagnosis, that's where we get that resistance as the provider. It's like, you're shooting me down when we discuss it.
Yeah, and they don't want to be on medication. That's the first thing. I don't want to take medicines because there's going to be
I don't want to take it for the rest of my life.
Your blood sugar. So metformin is the first one that we usually start a lot of people on. That's an oral hyperglycemic.
Or God forbid if you do the injection, the weekly injections that will help with decreasing cardiovascular risks, your Ozempics and things like that. I'm not going to be on a shot.
Yes. Well, then don't get on insulin, because metabolic syndrome, and you cross your threshold into diabetes, you're really going to be giving yourself a shot. And then you have those cholesterol lowering agents that we give people. They don't want to take those. Blood pressure lowering agents. So you can see how it starts stacking on. And after a while, it's like, yeah, you get on them and they might help you, and your lab values will be good because you're on this medication. But if you've not made those lifestyle changes, when you take those medications off, that mask comes off. It's right back to being where it was before.
And think about, so for those who are considering pregnancy, think about pregnancy and anti-cholesterol medicines.
Yeah.
Which ones can you take? Yep. We'll keep waiting for that answer. Basically, don't. I don't know of any legitimate anti-cholesterol medications that they suggest.
And it's already a hypercoagulable state. So you risk that clotting, risk it getting
and so it's
EBTs,
you got to literally sit there, and it's like, if there is a specific one, if we have someone whose cholesterol is so high that we're that concerned, that's the point where we're actually looking at it. Other than that, it's just let's just go through these 10 months and then we'll get you right back on it after you're delivered, because that's the first thing.
What can you do during that time?
Eat right and get your cholesterol down, hopefully naturally, because we're trying to fix that problem. So these are the things that we're trying to do. We're trying to make it more than just one type of thing. You have to see how change. Yes, you have to see how having this diagnosed at 20 something makes you eligible to have healthy, happy pregnancies. Because what is it that they always say? And don't get me wrong, I love the idea. But it goes to the same thing. Healthy mom, healthy baby. That's all that matters.
Happy mom, happy baby.
Sure, if you say so, because all we're looking for is death and destruction, and we don't care. I don't care if the child could never speak, never walk, never talk, but as long as it's a girl, I'll still be happy. Stop saying that, y'all. Oh, I just want the baby to be healthy. We all know that. We all know that we want a healthy mom, healthy baby. Stop giving me that toxic nonsense. Surprise. No one's sitting here oh, please let me get the most jacked up kid in the bunch. Please don't let the chromosomes meet. Let the karyotype look like a hot mess, like a preschooler drew it on a board. No one's hoping for that. But what I am hoping for is that I catch you at 18, whenever you're spitting distance, when you have metabolic syndrome. I want to catch you then, because you're going to be that successful 32-year-old that's ready to come in whenever she's ready to have a baby, and we're right on par. And you're having that full-term baby. You're not having that induction because of this or because of that. This leads to inductions.
From several losses because your blood sugar's uncontrolled,
and you're not able to maintain the pregnancy. This is preventing those miscarriages. This is preventing those C-sections. This is preventing those induction dates. This is preventing all of those things that we have to work on.
Right.
The obesity, and then using the muscles in your pelvic floor. That's how this all comes around full circle. Even for males though, low T and things like that. Where's your sperm count? Why are you not able to get pregnant? Why are you guys having a lot of infertility issues? What if you have erectile dysfunction? And that's the other thing with high blood pressure medications in men, especially with black men. They're like, I don't want to take that high blood pressure medicine. My dick won't get hard. Sir, but your arteries will. And let me tell you what, the only thing that's going to be stiff on you is your arteries if you don't take this doggone pill. Now, we can work on everything else, but you have to get over that. You have to get over the stigma with that. So we have to start breaking the mold. And this is how we start breaking the mold. So if you guys can think of any questions about metabolic syndrome, how serious it is, how easy it is, please reach out to us, because
down below.
It is important that you ask your doctor to be ruled in or out for it so you can start fixing it, so that we can start managing it early, because that's how we see you in your older age thriving and not just barely surviving. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I just hit our microphone. Hopefully that thing is still on. We're going to blow out our ceremonial candle, which smells really good, by the way. We made this locally, and I am actually very impressed. Little local business in my community. All right. So we will see you guys on the next episode of Safe Space Talk. Thank you so much for joining us.